Vigilante Williamson on the 100th episode of my show, The Vigilante Williamson Show. It is December 6th, Tuesday, December 6th. And it is indeed the 100th episode of this show. Maybe, I don't want to say the final. It is the last one for this year. Speaking of which, I know no one's joined yet, but I'll shall we said it next week. Culture Crime Fires. That'll be the last episode of that for the year as well. We're going to be doing it live. Do it live on Monday around 1:30. So that's the plan for that. And I'm going to take a nice little break, not just from the year. I don't know necessarily when I'll be quote unquote back from break. I am going to do similar to what I said before and did before with a lot of gaming streams. So I'm not going from the platform at all. But I'm going to take my time on my way back to anything considering a regular YouTube schedule. I'll probably still end up streaming it each week. Just doing like a chill game streams, especially on Sunday. And that's kind of going to be it. Like I said, I don't really have any plans for even this show. It's the most underwhelming 100th episode of anything. Like I really don't have plans. I thought about potentially watching the first episode. But I don't have the stomach for it. I really don't. And yeah, so not going to. I'm not sure if anyone's even watching yet because obviously the channel, the channel's been suppressed for a while. That's been another kind of thing. But the plan is to take a break, come back when, take a break, still do the gaming stream. Who knows? Maybe it'll just be the gaming stuff. When I took a break last time, even after I came back, it still felt like I was on break for another month. So really, I'm eyeing like February at the earliest of like non-gaming stuff down on this channel. I don't know what the direction's going to be. I don't know what, I want to do music. I want to have more time for that. Work has been taking a lot of time and energy from me, and I got to also get healthy. You guys know, if you listen, I've had struggles with that. So I want to give that the best chance, pro priority, plus, break, tired. tired. And then this YouTube grind, especially when there's so much suppression. All the subs that I got from the Pat Truthner interview have already been taken away. You know what I mean? So thought of a new channel is also a thing. And then it's like, do I really even want to be a podcaster? I wanted to be a broadcaster when I was younger. There's still part of me that loves doing these live streams, which is why I'm going to be doing, like I said, game streams. But I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. I legitimately don't. So we'll see, I guess. That's all I can say. It's weird that no one's in the chat. I'm not sure if it's, I know obviously Nick Weiser is going, so I know a lot of people are watching Nick. But yeah, it's just weird no one's in the chat. And then I invited a few people. Not sure if anyone's able to make it. If they're not, that's cool. That's cool because it's like, I didn't really want to I didn't really want this to be too long of a stream anyway. So yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's the end of the show. Like 5 minutes in. Not sure what to say. I didn't have anything I planned to talk about. I didn't want to talk about any of the crazy shit from today or from the news. I didn't want to go on bounding, which I haven't gone on bounding actually in a while. I can't remember the last time I went on bounding. Hell, Baron Norman tag. Okay, cool. If you can't, it's no big deal, man. It's no big deal. I don't know how long this show is going to be. I don't know how long this show is going to be. I kind of don't have much to talk about or much interest. It's mainly just what the future for Vigilante Williamson holds. I'm gonna take my time and kind of discover, because like when I came up with Vigilante Williamson, it was not for this. It wasn't to be a podcaster. It was like a musical persona, which I never really pursued to its full extent. And I thought I could do both. I'm really good at overestimating what I'm actually capable of. So I never really got to do exactly what I wanted to do. So I'm gonna hopefully take some time and spend some time kind of doing that. So we'll see if Baron can make it, or 24 Matt. But like I said, I don't know how long I want to do the stream. Because I don't really have much to say. Don't really have much to say. Don't really have much I want to cover. I think that's kind of been my frustration with all this, is like, I don't care about most. I don't care about a lot of this stuff in this entertainment world. I don't care a lot about this stuff in the news world, man. I think a lot of that's bullshit. It's just, yeah, man. It's just ridiculous. You know, okay, I'm on Bounding, man. I'm not trying to shit on Bounding, man. I'm not trying to shit on Bounding. And I'm not trying to be that guy who, you know, because, you know, it's the quote-unquote holiday season. A lot of people like their Sun God Day. But Jesus Christ was not born December 25th. And I know that's like, there may be a can of worms for some people. It may not be for another one. This whole holiday is pagan. But that's not like new. That's something I knew even as a kid. And so why am I saying that? And what does this have to do with Bounding? I just happened. I said, it's the 100th episode. I haven't checked Bounding in forever. I'll check them. How many episodes were just me reporting on Bounding, right? And I see this headline and I'm like, Walt Disney's an evil ass company. But attacks Christianity and rejects the divinity of Christ. Bro, Christmas was not December 25th. I'm not trying to be the bearer of bad news for those at Bounding. But that's not how it is. And hell, my partner in Primetime Kinging has made it.
Hail to you, another episode of the Vigilante Williamson Show 100.
Yeah, and I think this is the first. Is this the first time you've been on my channel? It might be.
It is the first time. Yes, sir. It is.
Sorry about that.
Well, no problem.
Happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here, brother. Glad to be here to help celebrate this.
I don't know if it's a celebration. I appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate you being here.
Very happy to be here.
Yeah. I'm not talking about nothing. I don't really have anything to talk about that I want to talk about. Just kind of talking about sort of the future, and then just randomly looking at this and making the point about I mean, there's a lot of evil stuff about Disney, but this is a very like sensationalized headline. Much as I like Bounding, it's like whatever. But
it's Disney.
Yes, Disney. So, but thank you for being here, man.
More than happy to. Thank you for having me. I had to go into Vigilante Williamson territory sometime. Now's a good time.
Yeah. And hail to Papa Cotton 7 and Happy Dinosaur 8000. Congrats on 100 episodes. Yeah.
We need to have happy dinosaurs, that's for sure.
There you go. You don't want unhappy dinosaurs, or at least not hungry ones.
Exactly, yeah. Keep them well fed or be faster than everybody else.
Yeah, but how are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. Just got off a Tuesday night trek with Master Paul and Pacific 414 and wandered over here. So we went a little bit late, so I was a little late coming over here. So.
Oh, no worries, man. No worries.
But other than that, doing good. And, the lights of the Griswolds, they actually dimmed a little bit, but it was a heck of a lot brighter earlier. You could really see it through my window.
Yeah. That's great. You can kind of see it, but...
Yeah. Trust me, earlier it would... It's bringing people down our block, and of course, BB the dog has to bark at everybody driving by. It's like, settle it.
Yeah. So, Small Town Republic, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for the congrats. Thank you for the congrats. Like I said a little earlier, I know nobody was here the first couple minutes because notifications at YouTube for me have never been great. But yeah, this is going to be the last Vigilante Williamson show of the year, and then I don't know exactly when I'm going to come back. I'm going to kind of take a little bit of a break. I am going to do gaming streams and random streams. So, but as far as the show and even Culture Crime Fighters, I'm going to take a break from that as well. So, and Hell Kai, appreciate you being here. And shout out to Baron's dog, who also is one to celebrate. I appreciate.
Oh yeah, dog. Very, and of course, Mouse is right here as always.
So yeah, man. So yeah, I don't really have anything. I didn't even I never really planned for this show. Like, you know what I mean? Just like I didn't have anything planned. And when I mentioned it, 24 said, "Hey, I want to do it." I'm like, okay. And then you guys are gonna hopefully 24 can show up, but if he can't, he can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I am like, I don't know what to say or do. Like,
well, now that somebody's else on, it makes it a lot easier because someone else shoots their gums, flap their gums here, shoots their mouth off.
Yeah. You know what though? I've always been the opposite. I always like solo streams more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I could just ramble.
I need someone to play off of. I really do. I find working with.
I'm self-centered, egotistical, so I don't.
Well, I am too, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make myself look better than everybody else.
That's smooth. That's smooth.
So yeah, I mean, already Tuesday, your 100 show, and been moving along with streams this week. I've been on streams every day of this week. Hard to believe, and it's not going to slow down. It looks like so.
Yeah,
but it's fun because I love talking with everybody. Love talking with you every Sunday, man. It's like when you show up and you pontificate on your stuff, it's always fascinating to hear what you got to say. You're a very smart guy. I mean, I admire you so much, and 24 as well. I sometimes I feel like the dunce cap of the crew.
No, I would definitely not say that. Because you definitely have some insights and stuff that I say we don't have. And I wanted to ask you, because now you've been a YouTuber for some time.
Yeah.
How do you like it? How do you? Because you do a lot more other people's streams. You're doing a lot more streams. How do you like it?
I love it actually. To get out there talking with the people, being on the shows I'm at, that I'm on. It's really a happy place. It really helps me out a little bit, with up here and all that. Especially when you hear all these, the bad crap that goes on and so on, and you're going from one stream to another, and each one is a little bit different. So it's not always the same thing. It's not always talking pulp culture. Sometimes you're just shooting the breeze, which are sometimes some of the fun ones that you have. Just let go and shoot the breeze. Sometimes it's a little bit more organized, like Gary and Keith, because they're going to be going to radio here next year. So that's going to have to be a little bit more, obviously compartmentalized and in the ducks in a row.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It took me a little bit to do it. I was just saying that, what am I going to do? And actually my family was prodding me into, you should do it YouTube. You should do YouTube. Yeah. And I didn't know what to do. And so when I did do it, I happened to run into the best group of people there is out there. U24, Pacific 414. No, honestly. I mean, U24, being asked to be part of the Kings was an immense honor for me. Mike with Pacific 414 and Cash Money and, Raymond Feliciano with the King Dolphin TV, Gary and Keith, all these guys. It's just, I'm just so surprised that I've gotten in so well with everybody there. It's like, and I've been accepted in. And I think that's the biggest thing over this last over a year, being accepted by everybody in there. And I didn't know how it was going to be. I don't know how people were going to take me. Obviously, they like me enough.
So man, you're good, man. You have good takes and you have good insight. And,
And I try not to rock the boat. It's dramas. I don't want the drama. It's just like, it's like, this is supposed to be fun. And like Mexican Iron Man sat back and said, that's exactly the right attitude to have about it. It's having fun. And then everything else will hopefully fall into place. So, as long as I'm having fun, it's where it's at. I had a career in broadcasting for a little while, so it's just
Cool.
harkening
Yeah, I
back
think
to that. Yeah.
you said something like that, and I know I did a little bit of broadcasting
Hmm.
back in the day. Didn't really go too far. Real
Yeah, same
quick,
here.
want to shout out the old man, hell, old man.
Hmm.
Shout out to Newbound Turk, hell. Shout out to Mr. Grant Gregory. Hey, hey, appreciate you being here. Yeah, thank you. Um, but yeah, I remember you talking about the broadcasting thing.
Yep.
Where did you go? Because all I did is take a community college, and sorry if my mic is. I've been
Oh,
having issues
yeah.
with it.
No worries. You
Um,
sound great. You sound good.
but like, how far did you go again? And you work for a radio station for a little bit?
Yeah, when I went for a while when I was going through high school, they had the vocational schools open when you were a junior or a senior.
Mm-hmm.
And usually that's where they like to shuffle off the troublemakers. I was probably one of the few that went that way that wasn't a troublemaker. And they had an audiovisual technology course over there. So, learning how to do CAD. Now, this is back in the mid 80s, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, we're going around learning how to do 35 millimeter, taking pictures, developing film, going into a recording booth, doing recording, doing video work, doing that. The 2 years there would have counted for a full credit, or full year credit, if I would continue going to the Hempin Technical College is what it was called, or
Mm-hmm.
that's what it's called now, Hempin Technical Center back then. I went to a school that no longer exists. It's called the School of Communication Arts, and I did my radio
Mm-hmm.
broadcasting there. One of the guys that worked in the broadcasting field around the Twin Cities was my teacher. And even doing that, being part of that school, it was amazing because we got to go places that you would normal people wouldn't have been able to go to. Behind Minnehaha Falls in the wintertime.
That's
Uh,
cool.
yes, with the ice, the top of the Fauché Tower, which was closed, has been closed off to people because people have connections, and we have the cameras, and we're filming, and people were so um, considerate and kind to us to let us be able to go and do that filming. And then from that, I went on to do a stint on AM radio, AM 1220, 12 WTCN, Stillwater, Minneapolis, and St. Paul. Uh,
Okay,
yep.
we're
So
further than I did.
yep. So I was there for a while, playing the music and playing the pony sports because Stillwater's big into football. They're Stillwater High School ponies. And we have Stillwater also has a semi-famous prison. In fact, after the Northfield raid, I believe it was Frank James that was in prison there and started their prison newspaper
Hmm.
back in the day. And we actually did get a fan letter from the prison, and it was all done in crayon. And it's like, oh, okay,
Oh
that's a little
man.
scary. Yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't done in blood or bodily fluid, so you gotta take
No,
that.
yeah, exactly. It's like I'll take the crayon any day, And it was a nice letter. It wasn't I'm going to kill you all, you know.
There you go.
But yeah, I
There you
mean,
go.
and Stillwater is a very historical town. So I traveled almost like 36 miles one way a day, So round trip, what is that? 70, 72 miles
Mm.
round trip every day to virtually 6 days a week. So I worked nights Monday through Friday, then I did Sunday mornings. And Sunday mornings I was in there for 6 hours. Actually, I was there for 6 hours. I was the one that was on the board, had the most hours
Mm.
usually at the station. And it
Okay.
kind of burned me out a little bit in some ways. You only
Yeah.
had one day off, and you just like, getting up early to get the station going because we powered down. We were from 6 to 10,
Mm.
every day. So having to travel all the way from where I was on Sunday morning to get there by so everything is going at 6 o'clock, and then getting off that schedule where you're up after 10 o'clock, and then you're traveling back home.
Mm.
So, but it was fun. I loved it. I love being on radio. I can tell you one thing: WKRP in Cincinnati is 100% truth in how a radio station runs. It
Yeah.
really is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All I did. Yeah, I did like a college radio station,
Hmm.
and then I tried. I sent whatever little demo thing to a bunch
Hmm.
of people. The closest I got was ironically enough a country station. They
Oh,
eventually told me no, and then that was it.
yeah.
That was the end of it. There was no thing, but that was really cool that you went for the AM station. What was the format? Was it just
It was in the morning. In the morning to a little bit was religious broadcasting. Then
Hmm.
one guy did sports. The station, the uh, not the station manager, but the program director, and
Hmm.
he was a little pain in the ass. He was one of these big into wrestling. He was involved with the local
That's
B
cool.
team, and
AWA.
yeah, well, no, it was even lower than that. We were talking about the ones that go to the bars and have
Oh, so it
and the
wasn't as
American
good as
Legions.
AWA.
Yeah, I'm talking
Okay.
about like the minor leagues of
Like the
violence.
indie small wrestling. Okay. I thought like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, Minnesota AWA, that was pretty big back in the day. Hulk
Oh
Hogan,
yeah,
Gene Okerlund, a lot of people went through there.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Vern
Yeah, yeah.
Baron von
Wow.
Raschke, all those great
Yeah,
guys.
Claw.
Jesse Ventura,
Yep. Yeah.
so all
He,
that there. So,
former governor,
mm-hmm.
Jesse Ventura.
And then what we had was like a light FM at night, and so
Okay.
we did that. And then of course Sunday was all religious broadcasting, which is probably one of the biggest mistakes that station did because they used to have NASCAR on that station.
Hmm.
And people would tune in NASCAR, and they took it off. And boy, was I getting phone calls Sunday morning. Where's the NASCAR? Where's the NASCAR? It's not my choice. I'll let them know. Uh, but I guess the money was supposedly coming in because they had to pay for the hours.
Hmm.
No, if they're going to come in and have the show, they had to pay for the hour or the half hour.
To have
So
to
they
pay to do the show. I've heard of that. Like you have to pay to actually broadcast.
Yeah, and it happens a lot more than you can imagine. Some of these people, some radio personalities actually uh, legitimately rent their time. So all the commercial breaks that's on there
Hmm.
is their money. So
Mm.
they'll say they'll have that time, and then they go out there and get a bunch of people to support them, and they'd have their the commercial sponsorship, and boom, there you go. And
Mm.
one of the guys, Steve Cannon, was one of them that we had here. He was a big name in our radio in the Twin Cities area. He
Mm.
did that,
Okay.
and mhm. So yeah, he virtually owned that time until he basically, well, they did kind of run him off
Oh man.
after a while, but his shows was almost like commercials all the time. There's a little bit of stuff in the commercial, and then a little bit of stuff in the commercial. He is trying to get
Well,
the pound of flesh. You know?
yeah, I was just gonna say because yeah, I had actually heard of that. Now that you mentioned it, because I remember it was a local Detroit guy. Shout out to Mason, who's known for the Detroit basketball. He does the announcing at the Pistons games too.
Okay.
But he had did something similar back in the day where he bought his time and then sold all the advertising. I don't remember it being all commercials though. I don't think he was as greedy as what you just described.
Yeah. You can't do that or you're going to start losing listenership. You have to have something in the commercials. But
Yeah.
the more you get for the ratings, the more money you get. So that it's that ratings game. The Arbitron book is like the holy book they come out with, and let's see where we're at. So I mean, I wish it wasn't an easy listening station. The light FM. It would have been fun to have been a little bit more wild, but I was a little bit more wild than I should have been on the air. I
Mm-hmm.
admit that. But
You were a shock jock?
no, I wasn't a shock jock. It didn't go anywhere near that. And just being a little, just little silly things here and there to
Mm.
put in there. But of course, I was young and stupid, and we didn't even think about doing anything shock jockey, especially when you're starting out in this little station. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I had enough brains to realize that would go over like a lead balloon
Mm.
or a Led Zeppelin. Where that name came from.
Could have went over like Led Zeppelin though, because the shocking, because that would have been the era to do it. You know
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
saying? That would be the
Mm-hmm.
era because it did. I mean, you need some sort of following before you can really go down that path. But still, would have been
Mm-hmm.
who knows.
And actually, that station was kind of that way before because the station just basically got bought by another guy. I guess the guy was involved with like QVC, the shopping network stuff. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
exactly. And he just figured he'd buy the station, the money would roll in, but he didn't want to put any money into the station.
Mm.
So that helped make things suffer big time.
Yeah.
And they used to be a little bit more rockish before we came in. And they were
Mm-hmm.
actually hitting the Arbitron book, which is amazing for a small station like that. But when it got taken over by this guy, he didn't want to do anything, and we dropped out any ratings on there. So,
Mm.
and it would have been great if it was a little bit better, but been great if I probably would have been around a little bit longer on that one. But it was. It is a hard biz. It really is. You
Yeah.
get low pay. You have to sometimes travel, far away and go, literally, like the song with WKRP, up and down the dial.
Hmm.
You go here, you're going there. The one guy I had that was working there, his name was Bob Burt. That's his stage name. I don't know
Hmm.
if he's still here or not, but he was in South Dakota at a very profitable station. But at that time, we kind of had that little recession hitting back in about
Hmm.
1980, and they had to let people go, and he was one of those that had to go. So he came back to the Twin Cities and got on that station,
Hmm.
and so it's a very fluid. It's not a stable environment to be in. You
Now
have
it's
to be,
kind of obsolete in this day and
yeah.
age.
Well, yeah, because corporate the corporates have destroyed radio. I mean, when you have like only about three major entities owning about 90% of the stations
Yeah.
in a given market, when you do have those little independent ones, it's hard for them to compete with that, and those stations are so stagnant. It's like they have program directors, but the program director is useless.
Yeah.
It's,
There is no real program director. It's corporately programmed, and everyone has
right.
the same playlist.
Yeah, you get the whatever the playlist that comes in because this is what they pay, and you get these same songs over and over again. The variety's gone, and just like New Bomb Turk, the actual personalities are been kind of
Hmm.
watered down to. Hey, I was just looking at the People magazine. Isn't that funny? How they? Oh, ha ha ha! Yes, it is. And I was looking and watching TMZ, and oh yeah, can you imagine what they were saying about Madonna? And it's like, really, that's your banter,
Yeah. Real quick, wanted to just say, hey, what's up to Zach's? And
Yeah,
like someone else showed up. Oh
whatever
yeah,
cast.
Wes from Weathercast.
Yeah,
Hell, Wes.
yeah. Long are the days gone that you had Wolfman Jack out there spinning the platters on the old AM radio down in Mexico, blasting the United States. I tell you what, we're going to make sure you get the supply of Spanish flies coming up there. Now, coming up next is the Beach Boys. Oh, I mean, gone are the days of that.
Hmm.
I mean, and we need that. We need that type of personality.
I don't think. Yeah, I think radio's dead forever because like no one goes to radio to listen to new music
No,
anymore. It's just
no,
Spotify and those playlists have now replaced all of those radio stations.
yeah.
Like I can't remember the last time I intentionally listened to the radio. It would have to be sports talk radio when I still lived in Detroit and still cared about like sports stuff.
Yeah.
Because shout out to Mike Valenti. He's a bit controversial, but I did like him. I used to listen, live back in the city. So that's about it. So
Mm-hmm.
outside of sports talk, I had no interest. And even that was just like that specific. That was Detroit. I've moved. I've lived in Charlotte. Now I'm in the Houston area. So that's like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just I can't even imagine listening to the radio. I remember one time I had XM when I first got my car, and I kept that for a couple years actually because it wasn't that much, and they would like
Mm-hmm.
give you all these crazy deals.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually though, I just didn't need it, man.
Right.
It was cool. It was nice. It was fine. And I'm not even a big Spotify or Pandora guy. I just didn't really need it.
Yeah. I know what you mean there. I mean, in the state, I'm usually listening to, well, I like listening to worldwide radio, so I got a lot of stuff on my app where I can tune in the stations around the world.
Yeah, I
Sometimes
think
I
you
might
mentioned
even
that
know what
before.
they're saying. Yeah. And I find that fascinating to see how they're going on stuff. When it comes around the cities, really, there's nobody in the cities I want to listen to. There is one station. It is just over the border in Wisconsin, and they carry the Minnesota famous call letters, WDGY. And reason why that's so and they play classic rock, and they're a private station. They're not owned by any conglomerate, thank God. But their AM, the signal's kind of weak. It's kind of hard to sometimes get it over here where I live because I'm on the other side of the cities. But WDGY, of course, was so popular. They changed frequencies because the station that they're at, they became a corporate one. They dropped WDGY for KFan because that's their sports station and blah blah blah. Now this station has this new frequency, but WDGY was known for bringing the Beatles to the Twin Cities. They weren't
Okay.
going to come to the Twin Cities at all, but WGGY was able to finagle and get them to come to Met Stadium for their only appearance in Minnesota
Oh,
ever.
wow.
hmm
Pretty
And
cool.
yeah, so that was a plum, feather in their cap.
Mhm.
We had a radio personality. His name was Ugly Dill Roberts. He died, unfortunately, well over 10 years ago, maybe
Mm.
15 years ago, and he was on the station WWTC, and which was a their rock station that was doing a good job trying to compete with the boys back in the day. Well, WWTC is a talk station, but every Friday and Saturday, he had his old time rock and roll hot rod show, which was fun to listen to. It was like bringing
Mhm.
back the old days of radio in that fashion. Unfortunately, he died after his one Saturday broadcast. Literally, several hours after
Mhm.
the show was over, he passed. He had bad heart.
Oh
So,
man.
and I miss Ugly Dell. I tell you, he was great. He was one of the young bucks, younger ones of the old classic uh, DJs that they had out in the day.
Mhm. Well, real quick, and you know what? I'm surprised he didn't just let himself in because he could. Because we have another guest, my partner in culture crime fighting, Matt from Fireball Productions. How you doing?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm doing all right. It's kind of a crossover between the two shows I do, the
Yeah.
Primetime Kings and Culture Crime Fighters.
Nice to
Right
meet
on.
you, Matt.
You as
Yes,
well, sir.
your
Thank
You as
you.
well.
first time meeting. How are you doing,
Yeah,
Matt?
I'm good. Just got off work.
Yeah,
Nothing
cool.
crazy. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on
Yeah,
the
thanks for
show
showing up.
this evening. 100%. And congratulations on hitting 100.
Yeah, 100 episodes of the
Booyah.
show. Yeah.
Booyah. Did you see? I don't know if you follow me on Twitter or not, but I posted on Twitter yesterday that the cocktail lounge, the MFR Cocktail Lounge from
Mm-hmm.
Friday, is now fully monetized. Where I
Oh,
played that clip of Kanye saying he loves Hitler like 40 times.
yeah.
Yet
Oh, wow.
I have other streams that they are not monetized. They went through the system and they're like, nope, we're still gonna not monetize it. I'm like, what
Really?
the hell? Yeah, what did we say on those streams?
Right?
What did they
I
think
even,
was worse than that?
yeah, because when I left, I like spammed it like 5 times before leaving.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is over. No, fully monetized. Who
Huh.
knew? I don't know.
Apparently, there's Kanye fans at YouTube. Who knew?
Yep.
Or
I don't
maybe he
know.
fans of someone else.
Hope not.
I don't know. Howdy,
Yeah.
new bomb. Good to see you, sir. So what we talking about, my friend?
Well, I didn't have anything, so we just started talking about old school radio, just
Mhm.
Oh, cool.
because there was just like nothing really to talk about. 'Cause I didn't want. I didn't. I went to bounding for like a second. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about this stuff. So I just don't want to. I don't. I'm lost in the world as far as what I want to do with my channel still to this day, and it's like I don't really want to talk about a bunch of stuff I don't want to talk about. So that's
I
just
feel you.
rambling.
I was.
I mean,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, my friend.
oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. I was just going to say, hearing the news of Kirstie Alley's passing just kind of took a wind out of sails too. For
Oh,
me.
I didn't know. I'm just hearing this for the first
Oh,
time.
really?
Oh, you
see
didn't know
that?
that? Yeah, she
Yeah.
died yesterday of colon cancer at 71.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Right?
weird. Because I've been watching Yellowstone,
Mhm.
and I turned on Peacock last night, and it like how they'll play like a show like in the background. It's just like, hey, you should watch this. It was Cheers.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And I wonder if that's because she died or if that was just a coincidence. But I was like, yo, Kirstie Alley's pretty based. She's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Damn.
gone. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I always had a crush on her. I mean, when she was playing Savick in Star Trek or Rebecca Howe on Cheers, it's like,
Right. Yeah, sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's always a crush of mine.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a very attractive lady. And she was also like, as she got older, like she just seemed to be kind of less about bullshit, like
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
politically and stuff like that. Like I
Yeah.
kind of like, I remember just respecting Kirstie Alley for being like, nah, I'm not going along with that. It's like, hell yeah, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she stood up for it, and they sit back and say how nasty they were, but because of what she, said to people on Twitter, but it was a response back to people being nasty to her.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
Yeah.
response. It's like, I know I was, I followed her on Twitter, and it's like, yeah, go girl, go. You're doing a great job, And I used to live in a town not too far from here called Waconia, and that's actually where they filmed the movie Pretty Little Liars, I think it was called, that she was in with Ellen Barkin.
Oh yeah.
And that was back in '99, and I was living there, and I got close. I got close to seeing her, but I didn't get a chance to run into her when
You
they were
just went
filming
through
that
the
movie.
garbage like a normal person.
Yeah, well, my former wife wouldn't kept me on a tight leash. Let's put it that way.
Mm, damn.
But yeah, so I mean, boy, it'd been great to have met her. But yeah, the whole center of town of Waconia was all closed off for filming and all that. So the closest I
Yeah.
got.
And hell, Glen's talking about Kirstie Alley and a bunny's tail. I don't think I ever saw or heard of that.
Well, she was, I believe, she was a bunny for one of the Playboy clubs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And her first, I think her first real appearance on television was as a contestant on the Match Game with Gene Rayburn and Brett Summers and Charles O'Reilly towards the end of that show's run.
See, that's the like. You always have the insights to some of that stuff that I'm like, okay, I had no idea about some of that older stuff. No lie.
I'm old, that's why. I'm
But
a
hey,
jerk.
appreciate the knowledge, man. Appreciate the knowledge.
Get off my lawn. No. But
Yeah.
yeah.
So Trump, no, just joking. No.
I was just thinking of something like when I came on, because I was like, I lent my neighbor my vacuum and a Swiffer because I guess he just needed it. I was like, yeah, all right, no problem. And then I was gonna just go get it before I popped on the stream, and then I was like, I just wanted to avoid, the kind of cordially dragged out conversations you have with people. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
it's like, this is literally just a transaction, but because we're neighbors, we have to add about 5 more minutes of flowery bullshit on top,
Yeah, to make it seem like we know each other or getting
we
to
just
know
have
each
to
other.
be polite. Oh, how's it going? Yeah, well, how's work? Oh, it's going well. I wanted to avoid all that.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have that conversation.
Didn't want to have to act like you guys care
Yeah.
about each other's existence. Just
The boil on my ass finally popped, so things are a little bit better there. I can sit better.
It's not even like he's a young dude. Like we've hung out. It's not even that I just didn't. It felt like a chore to go do that, and I was just not. You know what I mean? I just avoided it. I just completely avoided it.
yeah, I know what you mean. Antisocial behavior. I got it. No, I'm only half joking. I'm way worse than that. So much worse.
What do you
I
mean?
get it, though. No, I'm just like avoiding like social unnecessary conversation. Like I do what I can to avoid it if I can.
It feels
This
like
is
work,
very-
right?
Yeah.
It's like a chore. You're just like, ugh. But we have to. I mean, I think it's part of a functional society is that you kind of have to. You got to do stuff like that. You got to smile. You know what I mean? You got to say hello. You got to be polite. You got to, yak about nothing, because otherwise, like the whole shit breaks down.
Well,
Right.
you got to keep some community about you to know who the fuck you're living in and around. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, okay, if you can kind of at least suss out, okay, is this guy nuts? Maybe you still probably won't know, but at least you have some insight. It's just like a natural thing you do. Like part of it is socially, part of it is like safety, but it's not like intentional. It's just what you do just to, it's like the guy across the street just randomly when I first moved in say, hey, what you doing? So I wave at him every time. It's like I don't really know anything about him, but he knows nothing about me. But
No, but it's like the fabric of society. If everything was kind of just, harsh and short and transactional, like it would be a horrible place to live.
you mean like how it basically is trending?
Well, I don't think it's trending like that. I mean, like, yeah, I think maybe we have less human interaction, but I don't feel like more of my human interactions are less polite or kind. You know?
Speaking of kind and polite human interactions, your boy 24/7 Fusion Media has also shown up.
Yo, what's up, man?
Hey man, how you doing?
Shit, I'm good, man. What's going on, man? Y'all doing all right?
Yeah.
We're just talking about you, that's all.
Yeah, I felt that in the air.
Well, we were actually talking about small talk and just like how it's like kind of the fabric of society or part of the fabric
Oh,
of society.
shooting the shit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got you.
Which is basically what this stream is because we have no topics because I don't want to talk about that other shit. So yeah.
How's it going 24/7? Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, man, it's Matt. Missed you, man. Shit,
I know.
appreciate that, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Shit, I'd like to join you on a Friday, man. If
You're welcome anytime, bro.
that's cool, man.
Anytime. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's been going on with you?
Man, just shit, man, just dropping videos, man. A lot of people very unhappy about a few things, man. I did that Easy Rider video, man, fucking hit past like 1K, man. I was like, what?
Way to go.
Congrats.
Oh,
Yeah.
good
So
job.
it's a lot of people, man. I still got comments today. People, hate the fact that Easy Rider's getting remade, and one guy put it. He said it feels like they're pissing on a national monument.
Huh.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow, yeah. So it's
What's
pretty
the
interesting.
story? What's the story with that? Because all I know is that it's being remade, and everyone's like, "Oh, it'll probably be," and then fill in the.
Well,
blank.
it's it came out back in '69, man, and it was it was during the times of Flower Power Child, and it was civil rights movements, just coming out of that, dealing with Vietnam. It was basically a
Counterculture.
it was a lot of different and it was people rebellious time, and it was it was a hell of a movie, man. They took about 400,000 to make. They ended up getting about 60 million from 400,000, which is pretty damn good, and it's ended up being one of the top 100 movies of all times, man, in the American Film Institute, man. So the fact that they're going to go ahead and put their hands on it, it just upset a lot of people, because a lot of people it's like that movie, it was created during the time where the reason why the movie was so big, it was because it was telling of the times, and the fact that they want to reboot it. I was telling a friend today, I was like, man, the whole fact that they want to reboot it, like, what's today's struggle compared to what was happening back then in 1969? It's like you can't.
Right, you bigot.
I mean, yeah, I know that, man. But but it's like really in comparison, like what the fuck's going on today ain't shit compared to what was going on back then. I was like, and I took it a step further. I was like, what if you took the youth of today and threw them in 1969? I said, man, a lot of them, they feel like they want to fucking kill themselves. They'd really want to kill themselves in 1969. They fucking got plucked out of 2022 and fucking stuck in 1969. They wouldn't even want to fucking. They'd be like, cash me out right now. Like, I'm done. Like, they couldn't even take it, man. So it's like, shit. The thing is, it's like, what could you put about the struggle of today's youth that would be as relevant as or as impactful as what happened in 1969 with that movie? Ain't shit going on, man. Like people don't even people don't even respect the youth, man. Like, motherfuckers lazy as fuck. They don't want to do shit. It's like, come on, man. It's like, what's the struggle, man? And then the fact that you get to call it Easy Rider, what you gonna do? Look, I bet you they won't even ride fucking motorcycles. They're gonna stick two motherfuckers in a car and call it Easy Rider.
They're gonna be on e-bikes.
Yeah. Well, it's fucking like scooter, like those one wheel motherfucking things.
Unicycles?
No, those with one wheel. It's like a board.
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that is.
Well, I mean, it's like trying to go out there and remake Citizen Kane. Really, you can't do that. This is the way. Can you take a look?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't want to put any ideas out there. But I mean, considering you have Dennis Hopper, Peter Fonda, Jack Nicholson in this film, I mean, really, don't touch it. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's. Yeah, man. They trying to redo fucking Big Trouble in Little China, man.
Are they
Yeah.
Really?
They're fucking trying right now, man. So it's holy
Leave the
shit.
Pork Chop Express alone.
That's a shame.
Dude.
That's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's interesting. Sometimes when they do this stuff, like, I know part of it is to kind of like erase the legacy of like the last one, and then just sort of associate what the new one, but the new one is now like the old Star, like the sequel Star Wars. The idea is to just like, now that's Star Wars, right? So I know that's like the goal behind it, but a lot of times when they go and do that, when they go and remake it or try to reimagine it, all it really ends up doing is just showing such a stark contrast to how good the original was. It almost makes the original better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a different take. And it probably gives, another generation, oh, you know what, this is shitty. Let me see the original that everyone's talking about.
Yeah, there's a movie I love called High Fidelity with John Cusack and Jack Black and a few other actors. It's really good. I love it. I think it's a pensive study about the modern male. I think it's really smart, and it's kind of funny too. But they made a TV show about it. And they featured the girl. It was like a girl's story, essentially the same story but about a girl. One season and gone. I mean, bet you guys didn't even know that existed.
No, I did not.
Nah.
So you know what I mean? So it's kind of like no one's watching that, no one's rewatching that, but I will be rewatching the original for as long as I find it interesting, which will probably be for the rest of my life. So it's like it almost stands in contrast to how much they suck.
Are you telling me that the Cedric the Entertainer Honeymooners is not the definitive telling of the honeymoon story?
It does suck. I do really like Cedric the Entertainer, though.
I didn't see that movie. I like him too.
I didn't see it either.
No one was going to see that.
The joke going around was that he actually does beat Alice in the black version. That wasn't my joke. That was a horribly insensitive. I didn't write that joke. It was someone else.
Don't shoot the messenger, right?
Yeah, I just heard it on some terrible alt-right Twitter account or something. It wasn't
They didn't have alt-right Twitter back then. That's one of those early 2000 remakes.
When was that?
That had to be like 2003. That's my guess. Just felt like
it was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, I don't think it went past 2005.
Yeah, 05. So that still predates Twitter, doesn't it?
Yep.
Eric Stoltz is in that movie. That's so random.
Really?
Yeah. It's got a 2.1 for Google.
Oh.
It's got a 13% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 3.4 out of 10 on IMDb. Yeesh.
Yeah.
Can you Magic Cedric the Entertainer talking about Norton, my pal?
Nah, man, that shouldn't have been made.
No,
it's a strange choice too. It's like I mean I like the Honeymooners, but is the Honeymooners like big in the black community?
It's not.
I mean, I watched it. I don't know. Shit.
A lot of those old shows that got rerun.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
I Love Lucy, shit like that.
Oh yeah, okay. Syndication was big, man.
As big as anything else, but it wasn't like.
Oh, and I tell you, when in the '80s when they were pushing the lost episodes of the Honeymooners and Showtime.
Oh, I remember that shit. Yeah, I remember that shit.
I think
it's funny because they also trying to redo Friends, man, to have like a whole all black cast of Friends.
It's called Living Single. That was the joke that Friends was a ripoff of Living Single. Now they're gonna rip off that. Man, that gives credence to what fucking Eric July said when he said that like a lot of these motherfuckers who push that race swap shit only validate white creations. Like they don't validate black creations at all. No. And so I think that's a perfect example. I'm like that format of show. There's like multiple black shows with that same format. So you don't really need a new Friends. Like
Central is asking if it'll be called Fiends, and I was just thinking it would be called FRENZ. Friends.
Yeah. It will not be called Fiends. It's not a Wire reboot. It's a Friends reboot. So
that's an interesting one. I mean, I guess probably you know what that is. That's like tremendous white guilt because I guess that woman, the creator or whatever, like that, like she tweeted about that and like made some big, over the top apology and because I guess it.
She did some shit with like they had like a trans. I think somebody's mother or somebody and showed up in the show supposed to be trans, but the way a trans person is nowadays, they were like, well, we're sorry that we were, misinterpreting that whole thing. And it's like, damn, man, stop apologizing for shit you did fucking 20, 25 years ago.
I like it. I think it's funny. You know what I mean? Like I like, especially because like I don't really care about Friends, right? But like I know like all like the woke white girls do. So it's kind of funny to watch them all just like terrified and tap dancing and just like our favorite thing is transphobic. That's right. You should cancel it. Cancel Friends and cancel Phoebe. And
yep.
They rather cancel Starbucks pumpkin spice, right? Like that's just.
It's just funny to watch them deal with their own medicine. Like, they went after all our shit, and now it's like, well, they don't have anything else left to go for, so now they go for their things. It's like funny to watch them twist. You're like, it sucks, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're hypocrites, so it doesn't affect them as much. Like, we're just not going to pay attention to our own shit.
Mm-hmm.
But they do, like, it's funny in Hollywood the way that they do, like, when I was there, the way they're always apologizing, always acknowledging, like, I
take responsibility.
Yeah. There's like an episode of Seinfeld where the whole joke is about the way the Asian guy can't speak English all that well. Like, that's the joke.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all the action surrounds that. And they were talking about in my acting class how it's a good episode, but it's really racist and out of date. And you're like, it's not racist. Like, he's an Asian guy who doesn't speak English well. What's racist about that? Like, it's like, oh, we're laughing at it. It's like, so what? Like, that it just sounds funny. Like, it's like if you went to Denmark and then you're trying to speak Danish, but you don't, that would be comical to the Danes. It's not a race thing.
Well, how about all the accents we have in the United States that we make fun of? Whether it be the Boston or New York or Southern. I mean, anything's, anything's fair game. It's like
it's so funny the way they gotta be the defenders. They gotta come to the rescue of the poor oppressed minority.
Right. I mean, I'm looking for my cockies. Right. It's like you're it's like, honestly, it was one of the things that's always fun to make fun of. And if you're not being mean about it, that is,
I think you'd be mean just as long as it's funny.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what?
Funny and mean.
I'm not trying to stir anything up, and I'm not going Kanye, but I think it was actually you who brought up like was it either you or some celebrity brought up all the Jewish people who play Italians?
Probably me, yeah.
Somebody brought that up.
I think I did because a lot of times you have Jewish people playing Italians and Italians playing Jewish people. I mean, look at Everybody Loves Raymond, the big brother there. I mean, he's Jewish, but he's playing an Italian.
The Fonz.
That's what I was thinking. Was the Fonz?
That's a big one.
Henry Winkler. Yep.
Andrew Dice Clay is a Jewish guy, but he kind of plays like a loud, over the top Italian guy.
Yeah, and then there was that guy from Short Circuit, right?
Short Circuit. That's deep.
Oh, you're talking about with the Indian accent?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I just had a mailbox.
He's just a guy. Wasn't there a thing about that Short Circuit? Didn't they?
Actually, because it's funny because they found him like probably like in the last year or two and asked him, "Yo, what do you think about that role you played back in Short Circuit?" The guy was like,
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
now they're making a big deal about it.
It was Johnny Five, man.
Yeah, Parker's
who's Johnny?
Something Stevens is his name. I can't remember what his name is. Yeah, I mean, that's part of humor. Humor is, you're making fun of things. You're making fun of stereotypes. You're making fun of tragedy.
No. You have to punch up. That's it. That's the only thing that's funny. Punching up. Don't punch down.
Yeah.
It's very bad.
Yeah. The high ground, right?
Even comedy needs to be activism. Especially comedy needs to be activism.
Oh, man. Mm-hmm.
You know what? It's funny, man.
I will analyze my comedy with a checklist and make sure it's okay, that it's funny now that it fits my criteria. Hilarious.
Well, they whiteboard it now. You can't whiteboard jokes. I was watching the documentary about the aristocrats, and that's about the joke, the filthiest joke in the world. And there's only two rules. It starts out with either somebody coming into an agent or a theater manager, and they say, "I have an act for you," and then you go freeform from that, unprepared, all the way across the board. And of course, you end up with, what do you call yourselves? The aristocrats. The filthiest joke in the world. Well, they're going through there, and they went to the Onion, and all these soy-sucking little weasels with seeds, with testicles the size of grape seeds, are whiteboarding out this joke. And it's like, no, and they're making it political, which is one thing about the joke is it has nothing to do with being political. It's just disgusting, disturbing, all the way across the board. And it's like you can't. That's what we have for humor nowadays. Let's go and let's whiteboard it, and we have to make sure we put a Orange Man bad jokes in there and stuff like that. It's like that's what comedy is now.
No, it's not. It's not what comedy is. It's what these assholes are making.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. What comedy is now, what those guys are doing. Not what real comedy is.
But it's like they're like right now, like there is so much good stand-up comedy and good podcasts. It's just this is like Hollywood needs to play by that set of rules. That's what they have to do. And that's good. Let them, because they become increasingly more irrelevant, especially when it comes to comedy. Nobody like we're gonna see the end of Comedy Central in the next few years. There's nothing on there, has no one on it, no one watches it, no one gives a shit. You can't fake funny. You can't woke your way through funny. It's not gonna work. It'll work for a little while, and then people are gonna tune out. They're not gonna find it interesting. And then there's too many hilarious podcasts. There's too many. I have too many. There's this year alone, the amount of specials that came out that are amazing, that are so funny. Joe List put out a great special. Danny Polishuk put out a great special. Ari Shaffir put out a great special. Chris DiStefano. There's so many incredible, funny comedians that just like are killing it right now. And it's like, yeah, go ahead. Make sure the jokes are politically correct, by all means, because you just make yourself completely irrelevant. And you prop up these guys, and you make it easier for me to find funny stuff. So please, woke yourself to death.
It's sad not having good comedy on TV. Nothing like Cheers or Taxi or anything across. Married with Children. Can you imagine Married with Children done today?
That's funny. A friend of mine sent me a clip from that today, and I was thinking that exact same thing. I was like, it was like the whole joke is that he's into this chick, and she's hot. Like that would never, ever. Oh, she has no agency. She's being objectified.
That's the joke.
Yeah, but that's not funny to those girls. Not those girls who went to college. They know the way to do it.
But to be 1,000%, they don't even. Do they even really try comedy in the mainstream level anymore? When is the last comedy that's been released?
Yeah, there's some girl told me about it. Like a office style comedy that takes place in a inner city public school.
That's
terrible.
The thing is, man, in the last, man, easily in the last like 7 to 10 years, man, ever since woke came in real tough, comedy has taken a nosedive, and has been the one thing that's probably has been affected the most, that people talk about the least. And except like the stand-up comics, Chappelle, a bunch of other folks, they know what's going on with it. But that's why you have Todd Phillips, who directed Old
Joker.
School and a bunch of other fucking comedies. He even said like the reason why I did the Joker was because I'd be damned if I do a comedy now, I'll get canceled. And
they
that's
tried to
the reason,
cancel him anyway.
Yeah,
right, and that's the reason why he. Right, and that's why he went around and he said, I'm going to be doing movies like the Joker from now on, because there's no room in comedy for us anymore. It's like, damn, that's woke culture, man.
Well, what do you think about what Matt was saying? That the mainstream sucks, but there's so many other like comedians now that there is really no mainstream comedy scene. That there's so many people you can find on the internet now, whether it's podcasts or specials.
A lot of comedians, man, since movies, like the movies they used to do, they can't do no more, and all this other shit. Dude, the comedians, the true ones, have went back to the comedy clubs, man. And that's really where you'll find it, man. That's it's right now the only thing that's holding comedy together are the stand-up comics. As far as the movies go, we're gonna go watch a funny comedy like Bros. Like that's not what's it's like, man, we ain't watching that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the thing is now you got these woke motherfuckers that are trying to give us their brand of comedy, and that's not the shit we grew up off of, man. We grew up off of like Porky's and Revenge of the Nerds and Animal House. Dude, I can go American Pie. Dude, they like, I made the video with them. They have a chick rebooting American Pie. Like, what the fuck is this, man? Like, what the fuck she's supposed to see? They already had an American Pie about chicks. It's called American Pie: The Book of Love. And and then they had another one that's called American Pie: Women Are the Best, or some shit, like, but it was just one movie, whatever. They already did their thing, man. It's like if you know about the franchise,
that many American
Pie they got like fucking 9 movies, man.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was dedicated to chicks, and of course, but it was done crazy like American Pie. So
Mm-hmm.
you know how that goes, man. But fuck all that, man. It's like, dude, people are scared. Like okay, you got Eddie Murphy. He's trying to do fucking Beverly Hills Cop right now.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, what's that gonna be like? He's still putting on his old fucking that high school fucking jacket that he wore back then. It barely fits his ass now, and he's trying to put that bitch on.
I didn't need another.
You know who I heard has been going hard in the comedy clubs and is like apparently working on an hour that's going to be like legendary is Chris Rock.
Really?
That's what Tom Segura was saying on his podcast, and I heard that from a few other people that apparently, I guess after like the Will Smith thing, and like they gave him like the standing O after he just slapped him. I guess that just set him off, and he's been going hard, like really working on it.
Because like to me, he was always a better stand-up than actor, and it seems like once he became an actor, he just stopped doing stand-up. Like he was really good late '90s, early 2000s. And he just disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, Bigger and Blacker is phenomenal.
But that's what happened to a bunch of them, man. It's like fucking like Chris, like Eddie Murphy, Chris Tucker, even like Cedric the Entertainer, like Steve Harvey, dude. All these guys, good fucking comedians. But the time they start making money, look, they fucking doing TV. You know, what's that? Family Feud and shit like that. Like,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man, dude, you had Cedric Entertainer doing some shit like that too, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they started doing award shows.
The thing is, man, dudes get old. Like, grinding out comedy is hard. It's a lot of work. And you got to do it every night, and you got to write, and you got to stay fresh. And the audiences do not, like they say, Jerry Seinfeld says they give you like 5 minutes. Like, if you're famous, you know what I mean? They'll give you like 5. But after that, it's like, all right, earn that. You know, be funny. Like, and it's a lot of work. And if you're getting paid $100 million or whatever ridiculous, like that daytime money, some of that's really good, and you're doing that, you know, it's an easy gig, it's a few hours a day, you like, it's like a you know, a routine, you know what I mean? Think about it. I get it. And they're getting old, man. Steve Harvey's like not young.
Gotta be 60 at this point, right?
Yeah, I mean
late 50s,
something like that. I mean, you're on the road constantly, working late at 65. Yeah,
my dad's age.
That's
you know
I mean, like
my dad's retired. You know, it's like he doesn't work anymore, so it's like I get it.
That's grueling for somebody that age. I mean, you have stability with at least that show and a steady paycheck too. Going from club to club, you know, sometimes you hear some of the stories that these comedians had in the old days about where they were going, how they were doing. Sometimes wondering if they were going to get paid.
Shit, sometimes wondering they're gonna make it out because or if they were gonna jump in the crowd. You know what I mean? Because like, when you're nobody, some of those hecklers are like raw, and it's like, geez, man, it's a rough job, man.
It's a rough job, and it's also like nowadays to be a comedian, like it's not like the way it used to be. You know, you have a good special, and then you know you get in the industry, you get on TV shows, you go on the Tonight Show. Now it's like it's all from you. You got to be your own social media manager. You know, you got to be your own booker. You got to do all this stuff. I mean, granted, it's cool because it creates all these really kind of cowboys. But like, if you're an old guy, you got to start learning how to do TikTok today. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you're in your 60s, you're going to figure out, you're going to start putting out YouTube clips. It's just like, nah, man, I'll just take the money and chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
They had their day, you know?
Yeah. And whatever cast, this is probably true. Will Smith, not Will Smith. I see this one with Will Smith. But Eddie Murphy peaked young. He kind of did, man. He was like 21, 22 when Delirious came out. He was like 20 on fucking SNL. Something crazy like that, right?
Yeah, he was he was incredibly young on that show, and of course he changed his career as he got older. There, instead of doing the raw material, he's now going to be family friendly. Eddie Murphy
made a lot
Disney
of money.
film. Eddie Murphy
did make a lot of money.
He did. He
a
was
lot of money.
I mean, goddamn, his movies. They were big too. Remember the '90s? Those movies were huge.
Yeah,
Nutty Professor. Everybody watched that.
Nutty Professor. Both of those fucking movies. They had soundtracks and all this other shit for it.
At the time, I remember liking them.
Yeah. Not sure how they hold up either.
No.
But, I mean, yeah, they were pretty cool. And, 19. He was 19 on S.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dude, on a $54 million budget, that movie made $273 million. $274 million. That is damn good.
What, Nutty Professor?
Yeah.
It's 90s money too, so you can almost
Yeah.
double it with, you know how much.
Well, now with
inflation
Biden
is,
inflation, you can probably quadruple it, right?
right?
Brr.
But man, yeah, that's another thing. Comedies were cheap. Like you could, I mean, 54 is still a lot, especially again in 90s money. So you gotta go both ways. With that, but like then again, you had the CG. Remember that?
I was just gonna say it's probably where most of that money went.
Yeah, it was It was 90s CG, and that probably was a lot more harder to accomplish all those and playing all those characters. But
Yeah, that
even
was a big
still-
thing of this for a while, wasn't it? You know, doing all these different characters. That kind of started with Coming to America.
Yep. When he was the
Eddie
barbershop
Murphy is Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy. All right, it was like cute once, and then like it's all he did. You're like
guy. He ran to that. Well, and you know what? If you're the producer, there's less actors to pay.
Yeah.
So a little sneak way to do it. I have a question since we were on the topic of comedy. What are your thoughts on Rogan as a stand-up? You know, as since you did those jokes, Rogan, the podcast guy, and obviously he's done stand-up. He did stand-up before Fear Factor.
Yep.
And he has, the best podcast of all time, legitimately.
He kind of ousted Carlos Mencia.
Do you remember that? I think we talked.
Yeah,
he did kinda.
he Carlos
100%
Mencia stole a joke from him, man, and he jumped
50
on
Cent
stage.
Ja ruled his ass.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. He really did. Because Carlos Mencia went from one of the biggest, comedy names
to where it's like now he feels so shamed or whatever. Like you don't see Carlos Mencia no more, nowhere.
Nope.
Yeah.
Disappeared.
Nah, his show was awesome. I love his stand-up comedy. Like I own all that shit. The Carlos Mencia show.
Carlos Mencia?
Yeah, and all he had a shitload of stand-up comedy. I own all them motherfuckers, man. He has like 6 or 7 stand-up comedy where he's like going for about an hour, so he's fucking killing it, man. And all that shit was what built up the show, and he was
stole
killing
a lot though. That's what happened was he stole jokes. And people have been talking about it, but there wasn't anything they could do because it wasn't like how it is now. Like the podcast network wasn't like what it was. Like those were some of the first viral videos I remember.
Just about to say, yeah.
And it got out, and then once it got out, people just piled on him, and it was like I was never really a fan. Like I didn't watch Mind of Mencia. Like I watched it, and I was like, I don't know. And he used to do that thing that bothered me that comedians will do. Well, they'll basically make like a racist joke, but it'd be like about the race that they are, so therefore it's fun for us to laugh at this. But I'm like, but that's still a shallow, boring, racist joke. Like it's not just because you're saying it like, haha, white people, it's okay to laugh at this one. It's just like I never found that funny. Like
you found it uncomfortable. Like I don't like
it's
laughing.
not uncomfortable. It's just
lights.
it's lazy. It's not good writing. Like it's not funny. Like who's that? Who used to do that all the time? Margaret Cho used to do all.
Oh yeah.
So many of her punchlines were just like her mom's like Asian voice, which like we're not supposed to laugh at, right? But like when you do it, you're like, oh, it's funny because I'm Korean. It's like this isn't funny. Like this isn't funny. Like it's just like my uncle's got like 15 minutes just like that, Margaret. You know what I mean? Like those aren't good jokes. Like.
Yeah, well, stealing jokes was always a big thing in comedy. I mean, go to Uncle Milty. Yeah, Uncle Milty, was notorious for stealing people's jokes on that one. Amy Schumer, yeah, I mean, Amy Schumer's stealing jokes. Anything that's funny that she says is something stolen. But yeah,
amazing. She was like, because she's like a star. Like how?
I used to think Amy was funny. I just thought she peaked too early. Like when she used to do Opie and Anthony, and she could hang with them. She was funny. Like she would hang with the guys and make jokes and stuff. I liked Amy Schumer. I just remember like listening to her hour. I was like, all right, it's okay. It's not quite there yet, but it was just she exploded. Like they put her way above where she should have been. And I think that's when it really started to come out. It's when she started scrambling for material, started stealing stuff. Like then she got political on top of it, and then it was just over. It's just like, no, comedy fans are not going to show up for that. You can't woke guilt us into liking a comic. We're not going to do it.
Like Hannah Gatsby tries.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was only familiar with Schumer after her like push, where it was just like she's everywhere. And here she is. She's funny. You're supposed to like her. I'm like, nah, man, I'll pass. And it felt similar, not necessarily Hannah Gatsby-esque, but just like, okay, this is somebody pushed.
Sorry, I just saw Sentient Dildo said Rogan should steal some jokes because his are trash.
Oh, yeah, that's where I was trying to go. Like, because as great as Rogan is as a podcaster, I don't really think he's that good as a stand-up personally. Not saying that he has nothing that's funny, but he talks about stand-up a lot for someone who's not. That's really not his field. I mean, I think to me, what he does on the podcast, obviously, he's non-pareil at, but I don't think he's the best stand-up.
But but just because he's not the best stand-up doesn't mean that's not his field. That's his field. He's been doing it for like 25, 30 years. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
I shouldn't say field, but like that's not what he's best at. I would say that.
That's not what he's best at. Certainly not. But I do think he's like a good enough stand-up. I don't think he's a genius, but I don't think he's terrible either. I think he's pretty funny. Like, he's a good stand-up. If you can keep a room laughing for an hour straight, you're a good stand-up.
Yeah. I think we even talked about just competency is something that we can kind of underrate.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I am trying to think of any signature bits of his, and I can't really think of any. But I don't really watch. I don't know. I mean, I think he's funny. Like, I just don't. Yeah, I don't love him.
Yeah.
I don't want to trash him. I have too much respect for him.
Yeah, I'm not meaning to trash him either because, like I said, I keep saying he's the best podcaster ever, quantifiably and objectively so to me.
Yeah, critiquing is not.
Yeah,
critiquing is not slamming or insulting. It's just like everybody has their pluses, everybody has their minuses.
Yeah,
they have their strengths and they have their weaknesses. And
well, I mean, I stammer my way through 5 miserable minutes on stage, so I can't say shit about any stand-up.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's just to have 5 minutes is a lot of work. A lot of work to get there for that.
I can never do it.
Then to do an hour,
rough. Yeah,
or even more.
Some people go like a theater.
Yeah,
to a theater full of people. Yeah. Ari Shafir's most recent special called Jew, which is so funny. It was about 90 minutes long, and I was captivated the entire 90 minutes. I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm. It's not an easy thing to do.
Mm-hmm. No, it isn't.
Sentient Dildo says people are only laughing because they think he'll get invited on this podcast. I don't think laughing. Yeah. And Blinzer, you're correct. Neither Mad TV or in Living Color, or even really old SNL. I mean, there's a reason SNL is what it is now. I don't think the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, even early 2000s SNL can get made now.
There was a joke during the Clinton thing with they had Linda Tripp, and they just had John Goodman just played Linda Tripp. Like, that was the biggest part of the punchline. Like, could you imagine that happening today? That would, I mean, the reeing. But that's what I'm like, good. Like, now that there's alternatives, good. Ruin it all. Ruin SNL. Ruins. You can't kill stand up. There's nothing you can do about that. If they can book a room, they're gonna get work. And now that the internet allows them a pathway, you can't ban them on Twitter anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we'll find them. Like, they will make it out. There's nothing you could do. So you want to stomp all over? You want to gatekeep and ruin comedy? Go for it. Have at it. Because once that's gone and the husk and they're desperate, they'll come back to the funny people, and you'll be a memory. You fucking activist idiot.
Okay. Shout out to Captain Slappy, who showed up after Pat Truthner. It's not a 100-hour stream. It's just the 100th episode.
Yo.
Wish I could, he said extends during breaks. I don't have it up to get 100 hours out. Sorry, I'm not that.
Didn't Mahler and Rags do a 24-hour stream for
EFAP so.
At one time?
I think so.
That's crazy. Straight.
How
do you do that?
The old marathon.
6 or 7. I know you've done 7 or 8 on the fucking cocktail lounge. That's crazy.
True. Yeah, but it's also like, it's like 8 people too.
Yeah.
I don't have to. I mean, I guess I am steering this ship, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah. I think a lot of it, drunkenness. So I was like, okay, I forgot the last 3 or 4 hours, so it didn't really count.
It helps. And I think usually the audience is having a few drinks too. So, the bars.
Yeah, everybody's just collectively tore up by the end. Yeah, that is kind of a thing, isn't it? People in the audience is all fucked up.
I think so.
Oh yeah,
It's
2
just
drink minimum.
debauchery.
Yeah.
What are we doing with our
2
lives?
drink minimum, right?
Right? Yeah.
Well, Vig, I hate to do this, but it's getting
That's
late
fine.
for this bear in here. The bed is calling me, so it's great to meet you face to face here,
Yeah.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Foul
Pleasure.
Ball Production.
Good to meet you.
24. Great to be with you here in Vigilante's crib. Did I say that right, Vigilante? I'm trying to sound cool.
No.
We're
It's
sitting
the
here rapping, and
Well, it's the vigilante cave because of
the
superheroism,
cave.
so that's
Oh,
slightly
okay.
racist. But I'll give you a pass. I'll just go
Okay.
ahead.
Oh, I was trying to get that bigot from
I think
you.
you just
Oh,
try
yeah,
to
you're a
sound
bigot.
youthful and hip.
Yeah, it might have worked in 1990 anything, but not now.
Okay, congrats on the 100, and I can't wait to see what you're going to come up with next year.
You and me both, because I have no fucking clue what I'm coming up with. Did you want to promote anything before you get out of here?
Oh, sure. I'll be more than happy to. Tomorrow with Pacific 4 on Force Channel, we're going to be doing a watch party of Tombstone. So it's going to
cool.
be because I guess it's free on YouTube. So we'll have people queue up, have them hit play at the same time, and we'll just talk and make commentary about that. Over at Neporial, we're going to be doing on Thursday a Christmas story.
Nice.
Okay,
Talking about
cool.
that there, yep. And then those are the big things on the top of my list that have, of course, every Sunday at 24/7 Fusion Media's place, the Primetime Kings at 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, give or take.
All right.
So,
you go.
there you go.
Yeah,
That's my boring world, and maybe doing something on Saturday, whether it's with Gary or Keith or with King Dolphin TV. So we'll see how things go there.
Okay, man. Sounds good. Thank you again for showing up. I appreciate you being here.
Happy to be here. Glad to be in your cave. Yep. Take care, everybody. Love you.
Take it easy,
All right.
brother.
Peace.
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 That reminded me of Jim Rome, like on ESPN when he was like talking. I forgot he was talking to some player, and he's like, "I heard you had a chance to sit and rap with him. Why don't you tell me about that?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, I had a chance to talk with him." You know, it's like he just kind of like subtly corrected like his like code switch that he was doing there.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty. He was the worst, dude. I swear that character in Any Given Sunday is
It's Jim Rome. Yes. It's
Definitely.
absolutely because he was that.
Your smack is so fresh.
Right. That was what Jim Rome was. He was like this like faux 90s hip, whatever the fuck he was.
Oh, so transparent.
Oh man. I used to like Jim Rome. I don't know.
I know. I remember you said that.
Because it's just it was funny. You know what I mean? It was like, but it was very like I don't know what the hell the word is. I don't want to say cheesy because I don't feel like that's doing it justice. It's like schmazzy. Like it's just like I don't know. It's just like this weird character where he's like this 5 foot nothing guy who's always talking like the most shit. Like it's like sports are just so I don't know. It's just a character.
It's just so much bravado too. That's just kind of like, ugh, shut up. You know,
so much, so much false bravado, so much like. I think the thing I always hated
tell
about,
it like it is, do you?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that whole thing. Yeah, but I think I always hated about sportscasters is like they always talk about like what's happening as if it's like so. Oh man, he's playing so shitty, man. You got to get his head in this game. Like you couldn't score 2 points. On me. Like you know what I mean?
You couldn't even undefended sink a NBA 3-pointer. So
right. So like you don't have any real insights. You're just a fan talking, and there's that lack of acknowledgement of that, right? I think you know what? That's another kind of wave that the internet got. Just not just sports, but news and podcasts is because of how like smug and overly important so many of the mainstream broadcasters have been. We ended up having a generation of like YouTubers and YouTube streams and Instagrammers and everyone else who does sports Captain Slappy talking about the canonical sequel to Christmas Story is Hiroshima. For some reason, I don't think that is Captain Slappy. Did watch the sequel to A Christmas Story. It was interesting.
I heard it was good.
Yeah.
People at work loved it. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You know what? Baron had mentioned it on the previous episode, but I didn't talk anything about it. But yeah, Nick Wright is a perfect example. It's like, come on, bro. You have no athleticism. You just talk about how great LeBron
Bayless.
is. Skip Bayless. Even Stephen A. Smith. It was like this, you were a third string junior college guy, and you act like you were just like the greatest player in the NBA. It's like, again, there's some insights that you may have from being around the game, but they know much. They know how these players need to think and act and what they should be doing. And this is just like
They just have like, you know, middle like not CEO vibes because they're not big enough, but kind of like, you know, like account manager arrogance.
Right? Yeah,
right?
middle management arrogance. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so
that's
annoying.
exactly
It's so unfounded. Like you don't have any like Colin Cowherd. Ugh. Shut up. That guy, you just they always think that they're cutting through the bullshit. They would never criticize like their overlords. They would never step outside of like the lines. Like I remember, this pissed me off so much. I remember during the steroid scandal, and this was while Barry Bonds was clearly juicing.
Yeah.
He looked like he was going to explode. You know what I mean? He looked like it was going to blow up, like it was an overinflated tire. And like who was it? Giambi? I think Jason Giambi came out and admitted that he had done steroids. And on ESPN, I remember this. I don't know if it was Mark Schlereth or one of those guys, and they were giving it to the they're giving Giambi the business. Oh, it's shameful and this, that, and the other. And then the next clip would be just like, look at Barry Bonds on his way to 75. It's like, what?
Like, the fuck are you guys doing?
You puppet. Shut up. Everybody knows. Everybody can look at that guy. No one gets better at 45. Like, everybody knows he's juicing, but good little corporate boy you certainly won't say it, will you? Yeah, you'll take the tough stance on the guy who had the honor to admit it. That you won't accuse. You're real tough, real brave.
Well, because the gimmick was, we all know he's juicing, but we can't say it. Don't you want to watch him hit home runs? Isn't it some people would kind of say he's so controversial and shit. Like, that was the whole gimmick. It was just to build him up. Like, and then when he went to the fucking actual World Series, they hyped that shit up like crazy. Everybody remembers the fucking kid almost getting hit at the base and shit like that. It was just like a media circus.
And everybody knew. Like, people kind of, during the McGuire, Sammy Sosa thing, I think people were talking about it, but I don't think it was like as mainstreamed. The Bonds thing, everybody.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Hey, have y'all seen Sammy Sosa lately?
Oh,
yeah.
Man, I have seen him lately.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
Man, bleaching cream apparently is a hell of a drug. There's something wrong, man. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, he's fucking. Yeah, he mic'd out real quick, man.
Yeah, man.
He looks so strange,
dude.
too.
That guy is like, he's like Matt Color, man.
Let me see real quick. Let me see somebody got stuff in the chat. His name fits. I always skip that. Talking about Skip Bayless. I hate Skip Bayless. So annoying. Barry Bonds, the Green Lantern jaw, man. Like, his head was so big, man. I think he was so obvious. Like, you talked about, cool. Oh, man. Shout out to Michael Jackson.
Yo. He
looked. Is there a side-by-side available of how he used to
look? Yeah, I think there is, man. I think somebody already did that. Yeah, you could look that up real quick.
I got one.
Holy smokes.
He looked like a Dominican data. Like, yeah, man. Wow. Yo, don't look like the same person, man.
Dude, and doesn't it look like he's got some kind of like white tinted lotion on?
Because he does. Like, what does he have? It just looks.
I don't know. It looks so weird. It looks like he's dying.
Right?
You know, like you're seeing him in the hospital. He's dying of cancer. Like all the color's drained from his face.
Right? Like, yeah, this looks crazy.
Uh-huh.
And for him to do this, like in his, 40s, 50s, however old he is.
Yeah, he's probably in his fucking 50s, 60s, man.
Yeah.
Is he Cuban?
Nah, I think he's
Dominican.
Dominican.
I think I thought he was Dominican, but I could be wrong. Shit.
I don't remember. I know he's like. I'm pretty sure he's from the islands.
Yeah, I
Dominican.
so.
Yeah, he's Dominican. Yeah.
Yo.
I know. That was weird.
No, and then it's just the fact that like I guess it looks like his face is like losing his fucking. I guess he gained weight. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean,
it just throws him off a little bit more, man.
A lot of those like bigger, like more muscular athletes, like when they stop working out all the time, they carry a lot of extra fat on them too. It happens pretty quick.
Say Vigilante, you think he got soft skin now?
Shit, that's what Dubois Turk says. A lotion they use to soften the skin. He's Dominican. I think he has white skin now. So
I thought
I don't know
people had softer
skin. Look, I wonder if that shit's like from head to toe, like whatever the fuck he did. Just imagine like if he just did like his hands or in his face and maybe his ankles. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he probably didn't do it head to toe. In particular, the head. Like I gotta imagine.
I was like, you think that cream burns? Like, you know what I mean? You think he tried and his balls got inflamed? He's
chafing.
Would you go that far? Would you say, well, I gotta have the carpet has to match the drape? So
if you imagine sleeping with a woman and then you look like a black and white cookie,
Yup, you white face.
You look like a checkerboard. You
look like motherfucking what's the shit, Mickey Mouse and shit, where you got like the gloves and like you're black. It was white.
Yo.
That's not what he said. Such a dildo.
Yo, calm down, brother.
Yeah. Mike DiCarlo, this is a Simpsons reference. They did say this on the Simpsons. Like, do you want to know the terrifying truth, or do you want to see me hit dingers? Looking back, that's a clear steroids reference.
Probably.
Like, it was like it just went over the head of us as it's just the Simpsons and hilarious Mark McGuire. It's like, nah, he was trying to tell us. Carpet and drapes are transparent. Central dildos inspiring more people.
I mean, that was an exciting time in baseball. I will say that.
I think baseball needs steroids, man. I think getting steroids out the game was the worst thing for it. And I know a lot, some people will agree with me because it just was more exciting.
I mean, yeah, the pitching's just so much better now.
Yeah.
Like, the pitching's insanely good. Like, wasn't it something like after the steroid era, like X amount of guys that got like the Cy Young, or like more than that had been, or something like it was like, more perfect games have been pitched. Or it was more like
perfect
something.
Games. They figured something out, especially the past 10 years, where now like they can get every pitcher over 100 miles per hour. Like, that's no longer. It used to be, oh my God, this guy can throw in the 90s. He has a strong arm. Well, because of the modern training techniques and all that shit, they have it down to a fucking science to like get everyone over 100 miles per hour. Everyone can throw all these different pitches. So that's definitely changed. And that's why everything's about these launch angles. They don't care about strikeouts. It's just about home runs. And this, to me, it's made the game like just to watch. I think all sports, Captain Slappy's here because we talked about sports being fake, but outside of just being fake, I mean, to me, they're all less watchable than they were when I was younger.
It's boring.
Yes.
It's archaic. Like, football is still cool to watch. I still like watching football.
Yeah.
But baseball, man, like I like watching the Mets, and the guys that are in the booth there, Gary, Keith, and Ron, they do a great job. Like, they're very entertaining, but it's still only like nominally entertaining compared to like a really good podcaster or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, if they hired like purely entertaining people, like if Bill Burr was in the booth for the Red Sox, you know what I mean?
That would be great.
You wouldn't miss a game.
Man,
that would be great. I'm surprised they haven't done that.
Boxing has gotten boring too, man. Like, there's some sports that kind of just really went down. Like, people don't watch boxing the way they used to, man.
Well, I think it's the pay-per-view thing, though. You know what I mean? Like,
pay-per-view kill boxing.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. I mean, when you got like Jake Paul or whatever the fuck going into boxing matches, knocking out like Anderson Silva and shit. That's another thing too, man. It's like when you got YouTubers that can rock a pay-per-view and make more money than real motherfucking champions and shit. I mean, what do you say to that?
Yeah.
But some of that, Go ahead. You.
Oh, I was just gonna say, but I mean, a few years ago when Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury were doing their like trilogy, I mean, I couldn't keep my eyes away from it. It was so exciting, you know. And Tyson Fury's comeback, like I mean, it was good, and they also had and like there were 4 like legitimate heavyweights. It was Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and Andy Ruiz. Is that his name?
Yeah,
the
Ruiz.
Mexican dude.
Yep,
dude, those guys were all fucking animals, and they were all so different.
Yeah.
You know, like Deontay Wilder is this long, like lanky guy. Like Tyson Fury is an ogre, giant, fat man. And then you got Andy Ruiz, looks like he should be washing dishes, but he's, you know what I mean? He fucking throws power like you never seen. And then you got Anthony Joshua, who looks like an Olympian.
Yeah,
you know,
he looks like the Ubermensch.
Yeah, he looks like the Apollo Creed. Like he's just like a statue. It's just like god damn. And like you know, it was fun for a little while.
I think with boxing, I do kind of think the pandemic just kind of slowed a lot of that momentum down with a lot of stuff. And then with boxing, the big problem is like they don't fight each other as much, and they don't fight as much. And then you, like you said, everything's on pay-per-view. That killed a generation of fight fans. Like when I was younger, you used to be able to watch regular fights on TV all the time. And if like a superstar was fighting a loser, like they would put that on TV. So like Mike Tyson was just fighting a jobber, that'd be on TV. That'd be on ESPN. Like when he fought Holyfield, that's pay-per-view. But if he's fighting, was it Kevin McBride? You guys can see that. You can watch Mike Tyson knock out this schlub. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They don't do that shit anymore. Now everything's pay-per-view. It's like, okay, well, that means less people are going to watch. So
absolutely. And they take too long to get the matchups people want to see. I mean, look, Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather were like the two like lightweight, you know what I mean? Like the best in the world. It took until they were both basically done to fight. Like that doesn't, you know, in UFC that doesn't happen. No, you know what I mean. They they get the fights you want to see like that week. It's happening. You know,
they get them done quick. Shit, the big thing. Shout out to Alex Pereira, but he's only been officially in the UFC a year. He's already the champion because he beat Israel Adesanya when they were both kickboxers, and that was the big story. Dana did everything they could to get him. Basically to the title as quick as possible because everybody wanted to see what was going to happen when him and Israel fought again, and he got the match done in a year where there's fights. Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua were supposed to fight in 2019. It never happened. So like it's all it's business and this. And it's like, well, you know what? Jake Paul can just call Andrew Tate and they can go on YouTube and they can promote this shit way quicker and get this shit done without all the politics and all the stupid shit. So like people are going to figure out, I want to see KSI and some other YouTuber or all these like people do want to see that. People like the circus. So it's like, well, you know what, boxing, if you don't want these motherfuckers in your territory, make fights and stop being so fucking greedy.
It's like people were dying to see what's going to happen with Logan Paul and fucking Andrew Tate.
Oh,
Yeah, that's one that people are really waiting to see, man. I man, Andrew Tate. I
want to see what happens.
Yeah, man.
I care as much about that as a real boxing match because it's just like, well, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen with the top G meets Logan Paul? Is Logan Paul gonna knock his ass out, or with his weird walk, or is he gonna have And it does, it's probably as all the things I say is a work. The most likely thing is this, right? But like, I still kind of want to watch. It's just the curiosity. I hate to admit it. I know it's a lot of boxing fans are mad at Logan Paul and Jake Paul, I might have got whichever one is fighting Tate wrong, but like, to me, they're interesting. They're fun. I like them. I get it. I get they're not real boxers, but it's like, well, who cares?
I mean, look, Jake Paul's pretty real to me. He just won't. I just don't know why he won't just. I guess because boxing sucks. Like we're just detailing all the reasons why it sucks. But I guess I can't ever really get out of my head that like this is kind of. I feel like this is a little rigged. Like it might not be.
He's not fighting real boxers.
But even just the fights themselves, I'm just kind of like, like. And then he calls out Canelo. It's like, all right, fight Canelo, dude. Like, please fight Canelo. Yeah. Please. But
the thing is, if Canelo fight, because even that Floyd fight, I thought was a little rigged. I'm like, come on. I know Floyd's in his 40s.
That's what I thought so too. Like
I felt like Floyd. I know he has hand things and he's not hitting his heart, but it just felt like Floyd was just not I've seen Floyd at his top, and that was not. He just was sparring. It was like a spar session at best.
I think the same thing kind of with Connor. Excuse me, with Connor too.
Mm-hmm.
Like he played it very strategically with Connor. He's like, all right, I'll first 3 rounds, I'll just sort of feel him out, and then wait till him to get gas, and then just put the hurt and end the fight. Put on a show because he's smart. Because he knows how to. He's such a professional. He knows how to walk that line.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like I don't know. How does an untested boxer go up against the best defensive boxer of all time, and like doesn't make a knockout mistake? Like really? I don't know.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I think definitely, especially with the Floyd stuff, there's definitely some working going on. Because especially the recent stuff, like you said, the Conor, the Paul. It's just like, man, I don't believe it. But I will potentially watch those fights next year. Yeah, I have seen roided up Conor, or obvious, like he just looks so big.
Is he?
I don't know if he's roided up, but I mean, he looks. You start to see the recent things, like he looks like he couldn't pass a piss test. He had gotten like real swole. And remember, he was kind of a smaller guy.
Yeah.
And he looked. I don't know if these are recent. I can't. He may have lost weight since, but there was a point where he got like kind of like brolic looking.
He was always pretty fucking ripped, but I guess now he's just big.
Yeah, he was ripped, but not like where he just looked like kind of some sized up. Okay, I mean that's about what he was.
Yeah, I guess it's just bigger.
Yeah, I feel like he looked a little bigger than that. Maybe not.
Let me see if I can. Is there another?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got more mass on him than he used to.
Yeah. I mean, shit, I kind of think he was not a gimmick, but he was just a entertaining shit talker.
Well, it wasn't shit talk when he knocked out Jose Aldo in 7 seconds or 17.
That was the real one. That was the one where it was like, oh shit, because I thought Otto was gonna fuck him up, and I was like, oh no, damn, this guy might be for real. That was the one.
He got inside his head. And like
he did get inside a lot of people's heads. That was his thing.
When he got mauled by
Khabib.
Yeah. That's what I think he got really exposed there. Because the other thing too is everyone was like, Conor's gotta stay up. He can't go to the ground with Khabib because he'll just ruin his day. Mm-hmm. He knocked him down like 2-3 times from punching. This is the guy who boxed, Floyd, and it's like Khabib's eating you alive, man. He looked like a bitch.
Yeah. So that was the thing. It looked, when I saw that fight, I was like, oh man, so like, you're really not that good, are you? Like, that's what I thought about kind of like, not that he wasn't, but it was just like, there's a level higher that it almost felt similar to Ronda Rousey, where it was like, oh, okay, you were good because there wasn't someone that could stop you. And now that there are, that's it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
I mean,
that's what it kind of felt like. Like,
there's no one in the UFC though that just kind of dominates like that anymore. You kind of have like your time, but there's not like remember the old school guys. Yeah, they go on a run, but the league, there's just so many fighters there. There's so many talented, diverse fighters, and now that like MMA is its own art form. Like it used to be, you were a good kickboxer and then you learned like a decent ground game.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you're a wrestler and you learned how to punch, stuff like that. But now these kids are in their 20s, so UFC's been around like that long. So like they grow up. Yeah, they grow up with a well-rounded martial arts background, and it's just like, yeah, I mean, you're not gonna keep these. You're not gonna stay dominant unless you start doing professional boxing shit where you avoid the really good fighters. So you keep your reign going. But it's just not like that anymore.
Yeah, it's not like that. And for all the shit Dana White. I can talk about Dana White, and you should talk about. He makes fights. He gets people in the fucking octagon to fight. So like,
hell yeah, he's good.
I mean, I've talked shit with my brother about, okay, he's protecting this fighter, and he probably is. But at the same time, it's like you can only protect him so much. They have to go out in the fucking octagon and actually fight credible opponents, or else people are like, oh, he's not fighting anybody, or eventually it just doesn't have the same problem as boxing, where boxing, you can just avoid motherfuckers forever, man. You saw Floyd do it, and now he's infected a generation. That's the thing. This past generation of boxers has saw Floyd like, oh, that's the way to do it. Just talk shit, do social media, and never really fight the guy until you're both old as fuck. And it's like, no, that's not the way you're supposed to do it. And Latino Slam will legitimately beat all of our asses. That's not a joke.
He's a
Shout out
jiu-jitsu
to
instructor,
Paulie.
I think.
Yeah, he is. And he was on I saw that panel, what was that? The LA Comic Con, some comic convention. He was on the big panel with Nerd Roddick and Chris Gore and a bunch of other people. So I saw that. That was dope. Shout out to Paulie.
Shout out to Paulie.
Shout out to Paulie. He's moving on up in the YouTube world.
Is he? Good for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Way to go.
Did maul everyone back in the day.
Yeah.
So,
he's a scary. He's a different kind of guy, man. Like he like didn't fuck around. Wasn't playing games. Like it wasn't a show. It wasn't a career. It was like a lifestyle. You know what I mean? He was like a warrior from birth. You know, like
mauling bears as a kid. I mean, they joke about that, but they really did have him wrestling like a kid bear as a kid. It's just fucking nuts.
Crazy. That's insane. Who puts a wild animal around their kid? Yo?
Right?
That's nutty.
It's beyond insane. So, geez, it's like some Ivan Drago shit for real, right?
For real. There was a fight in ladies college basketball. Do you want to see it?
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I got 2 videos. Let me just see if they both have the fight. Yeah.
Yeah, Khabib was one of a kind.
Yeah, 100%.
I almost wish we got more Khabib, man. I mean, he retired. I know his father passed. But I feel like he retired right as he was getting this.
Wasn't it something to do with his mom? Like she didn't want him to fight or something like that?
I thought it was his father passing that he retired. Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, it was like he died, and then it was like he was left with just his mom, and his mom didn't want. I don't remember this story.
You might be right, though. You might be right.
It was something with his family, as I recall.
Yeah.
And that shit is dangerous, dude. I mean, let's be real.
God, yeah, man.
That's a dangerous job, you know? There's that boxer. Did you ever see that boxer who, like, died, like, pretty recently? I think he's a Latino dude.
Yeah.
And some other boxer, like, tapped him in the back of the head, like, a bunch of times in that fight, and he had, like, this horrific, like, his body, he couldn't, move, it was all broken, and then he died, like, a year after that. I was like, oof.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, that happens in boxing quite a bit. And then, I mean, shit, you just think of how many boxing matches and like small town MMA shits are happening in like the middle of nowhere where they're not really looking at safety like that. You know what I'm saying? They're not really making sure everybody's here. They got a doctor, but he's just there. You know what I mean? And someone gets fucked up.
They have a bare knuckle boxing league. Did you ever see that? Oof.
I know that it exists.
It's rough.
I'm not sure how it does, but it does.
I think it's a little rough. Like it's just kind of like, oh, this is good. This is vicious.
Bloodsport shit, right?
Yeah, for real. And these dudes who are like pros, former pro boxers and stuff, and they're eating each other. It was too much, man. It was too much.
Yeah. Real quick,
yes.
Before we get into that, I just want to say hey to Flavor Flav, 32 Flavors, and Nick Weiser. And as a lot of people have pointed out, there's a lot of seats, just a packed building to see these women play basketball.
Well, that's because we learned on the MF for Cocktail Lounge the other night. We learned that was because men always put on men's sports, and that's what we have conditioned audiences to enjoy. Mm-hmm. And if we didn't do that, then women's sports would be bigger. It has nothing to do with a lack of interest. It's only because society selected male society selected men, and that's what we push. That's the reason.
So why don't women watch women's sports after they know this? They know what society does.
Men are bad.
Basically, that's basically the response. I remember this fucking one of these ESPN twats. It was like a chick, and she was all into some feminist shit. And somebody pointed out that she has all these Instagram posts of her at different games. And she's always talking about, the WNBA should make more money, make as much as men, and all this other shit. She's never been to a WNBA game ever.
That's hilarious.
Ever.
That is
or at least
so
that they
funny.
can find on Instagram. So it's just like, you don't care about these bitches. You don't care about me either, because no one does.
We played that a while back. I guess it might have been during the pandemic, but it was whatever the Chicago ladies basketball team is, and then we showed the parade. Man, it looked like a high school homecoming. Man, there was no one fucking there, dude.
There's no one there. It was great.
Oh, I feel like a St. Patrick's Day, like in Minnesota, gets more people than their
I'm sure
world
it does,
championship parade. Man, no
It was
one
like
cared.
no one. It was like, why did y'all even organize a parade? It just seemed like a waste of time and money and effort.
Yeah. All right. So mass brawl. It's a little. I think exaggerating a little, but. So, I guess I could. Is there audio?
Okay.
I can't.
All right, little rebound.
I guess. Oh, she accidentally pulled her hair there.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
It got I don't know how accidental that one was.
I don't know. It got caught, and then she went after her, dude.
I love this. Wait, they didn't call a foul?
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
It's like a McDonald's after one.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
What? What
I'm
did I
not
say?
radicalized.
That's you were thinking it, though.
I was not. I was thinking how bad these women fight.
Yeah, like I wish they had more UFC trainings that were more interesting.
Terrible. I've seen a lot of athletes. So like when the guys charge the mound, they have no idea how to punch. I'm like, how are you a professional athlete? You like
no coordination. I mean, a lot of the basketball players in general, I remember the men, they just always like, they're waiting to be held back, clearly. They're like, they don't really want to fight.
Some of those dudes they throw, though.
Some do. There was the one time, it was recent, Isaiah Stewart chased LeBron James because his head got busted open. Once he saw blood, he just lost his shit. So that was the one thing. But even then, I mean, guys don't really, I mean, I wish there was more fighting in basketball. I'm going to be honest, man.
Yeah, no, I always like fighting in sports. Who was that dude who charged into the crowd?
Ron Artest. It was in
Ron
Detroit.
Artest,
it was technically
that's right.
Auburn Hills, but it was in Detroit. It was that ruined it. That was the end of. That's when basketball really said, "Okay, it's time to get pussified." And I'm not saying he shouldn't have ran to the crowd. That's obvious. Obvious. Even though I saw a game from the '80s. Somebody runs into the crowd, punches a fan. They don't even stop the game for a little bit. They let him keep playing.
That's rad.
Like, God, it was such a different time. It was just a different time in life. Like, they're not worried about lawsuits. They're just like, oh, well, he got into the crowd. He shouldn't have did that. That was bad. But like, you're not going to kick him out of the game. He's good.
That's right.
Malice in the Palace. Yeah, that was 2006, 2005.
I mean, we forget, too, fucking Khabib went into the crowd after the Conor fight.
Oh, shit, yeah. Jumped the cage, went into the crowd.
I thought that was weird. He skated on that. I was like, they kind of like, it was just like nothing happened. I was like, shouldn't he be banned for at least a year?
That's the Dana White way. If you make money, the rules are different.
I guess so.
That was because Conor got away with a lot of shit. Conor fucking, remember he had that fucking, what the fuck am I thinking of? The dolly throwing that shit through the window and all that shit.
It got glass in someone's eye that was supposed to fight.
Could have blinded somebody. It was just like,
that's just because he was throwing a little tantrum.
Happening for that. I think he yelled at him, like gave him a stern talking to, but that was pretty much it.
And there was a video too of Conor punching some old man in a bar.
Yes.
Did you ever see that? It's just like, what the hell are you doing, Conor?
That made me think because the old man ate it. I'm like, well, Conor, like, what the fuck is going on with your hands? Like, you should be clocking old guys out, or just are they just that strong out there in Ireland where he's just like, nah.
Could be. He probably Will Smithed it. He probably like held back as he was like, what am I? Probably just his instincts kicked in like right as he,
maybe
was
he's
throwing
like, oh wait, if I really clock this guy, that's
also
I
just
can get away with a lot, but not like putting him in the hospital.
That's just what are you doing? Punching an old man.
Yeah, Conor is indeed. He was definitely a con.
Yeah, I used to be a big fan too. I used to love Conor. I love the way he exploded on the scene. He was talking shit, little fucking angry.
DMs.
And then just he kept losing too. That was a big. He kept losing.
Yeah.
Like his record's not that impressive. It's like pretty average actually.
Yeah, it's like he was just on.
There's no one here on my level, and it's like there's a lot of people above your level.
Yes, that was what time. I think he was the one guy Dana did try to protect. The guy
he was a fucking money machine, dude.
That's true.
He just printed money for that company.
Man, he helped make it really what it is even now, man. Even not to say that everyone beforehand, what's my man Chuck Liddell and those guys from back in the day, but like Conor just put the battery in that back. Like Conor made UFC a modern thing as far as like this era, the social media era.
Yeah,
he's the guy for that.
Well, he had like professional wrestling level shit talk.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the same way like Brock had that. You know what I mean? Like it brings something extra. You know, like when they're articulate on the mic, and then they're really gonna go do it. Like that's great. Also, it leaves the opportunity to have them get their fat mouth shut because this ain't scripted.
That's the joint. That goes back to Floyd. That was his gimmick. He wanted to piss people off. So you wanted to see him lose, so you would pay to see him fight.
Yep.
And then you would hope he lost. And so that was kind of the counter draw.
To Connor, he's 22 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
Which is still pretty respectable.
Yeah, it's still pretty solid.
It's pretty good. It's not like Habib was undefeated.
No, that's pretty incredible.
A little more impressive. But it says he's also as of November 14th, 2022, he's ranked number 14 in the UFC lightweight rankings. So he's still ranked.
He hasn't fought. When was the last time he fought, though?
I don't remember.
Like 2 or 3 years.
Was it that long ago?
It feels like it. Maybe it's not, and I'm tripping. But it just feels like it's been a while since he fought. And still be ranked top 15. Which, I mean, again, the Dana thing, he's probably going to be ranked top 15 until he dies. just in case he would have come back.
Despite talks of retirement, this is 2021, McGregor booked to face former UFC lightweight championship Dustin Poirier in a rematch of their 2014 bout on January 24th, 2021. He lost the fight via technical knockout in the second round, making the first knockout loss of his career.
So he fought 2021 last time.
Early 2021.
Early. So now we're getting close to 2 years.
Almost 2 years ago. Yeah, you're right.
Wow, still a long time.
That is a long time.
Yeah, from to still be ranked top 14. That's what I mean. It's like, okay, just in case we need to put you in a big big spot, we're just gonna keep you in the rankings, just in case.
I mean, he could probably still bang.
I'm sure. I mean, but still, it's like if he's not really an active fighter though.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, shit, if you make that much money, would you be?
He's got his whiskey brand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Like, getting hit sucks.
Yeah.
It really hurts.
Yeah.
It's not fun.
And, since you did though, real quick, you did play me this, or you did send me this. This American players talking about European basketball atmosphere. Yeah, they're fucking nuts over there.
Is it like prison ball?
Well, it's just that like the fans are crazy.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, they're like spitting on people. They're just like
really
super hyped though. But also, it's like a crazy atmosphere.
Europeans and their sports they're different.
Yeah, man. I don't know if it's the lack of what you call it in the water, like a fluoride, but they have a lot more energy than we do. Hell, classic Vigilante.
We have a medical suppression field. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. Something.
Maybe.
Something.
Vig, I gotta get going, my friend. Unfortunately.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about wrapping up in a little bit. But, real quick, if you want to just go out, anything to promote, anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the MFR Live tomorrow. MFR podcast will be live tomorrow on my channel, so please be there. I will be a lot more sober than the last time you saw me. Pretty embarrassed by that, but is what it is. You guys know the drill. I'll be having fun, so come on there, talk a little shit. We'll have a good time. I've actually been really enjoying doing that live. It used to like pre-recording by yourself it's kind of a chore, but doing it live with the chat's actually a lot of fun, and I've been having a good time doing that. So check that out, and of course the MFR Cocktail Lounge this Friday, as always.
Cool.
That's it. Go to my channel, watch the videos. You know what it is. You know the drill.
All right, man. I appreciate you showing up. So yeah, man. I'll talk to you later.
Yeah, dude. And congratulations on 100, man. Way to go.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Deuces. Bye, chat. See you all later. Bye, 24/7.
All right, man. Peace, Matt.
Later. 24?
You still there, 24? Not sure if he's still there. The CIA got him. So Sports is Our Gang Shit says Ascension Dildo. Papa Cotton has been hit a lot. He says it gets fun. So yeah. No, they didn't get Latino Slant earlier. Meta World Peace versus the WNBA. Shout out to Meta World Peace, aka Ron Artest. Gets a lot of shit for the balance in the palace, but he was a sweet player. He was a good player. 24 fell asleep. I'm not sure because the stream is not going to go too much longer. I did want to thank everybody who showed up. So the 100th episode, Matt just left. I should have probably promoted Culture Crime Fighters because that next week is going to be the last one for the year. This is going to be the last Vigilante Williamson show for the year. I'm not sure when this show's coming back. I'm not done with the channel though. I'm going to be doing like gaming streams and just some of the chill stuff I've done before when I've taken breaks. And then hopefully be back sometime next year, January or February, with a new show. I really want to give it a little time though, man. I really want to give it a little time and try to really have the right direction for the channel. That's the thing that I definitely want to do, man, because I feel like the channel, even though it's still fun, I still love doing streaming. I feel like a lot of the direction of the channel just kind of got lost for me because it's like I never really intended for this to be the direction. So I got to figure that out. And so hopefully I'll take some time off. It's going to be the end of the year. Like I said, I'll still be doing game streams and hopefully more games than just Streets of Rage and shit like that. Even though we'll still play that. But didn't really have any topics. Went 2 hours. It is now past midnight. I don't know what's going on with 24/7. I don't know if the CIA got him or not. But we are going to get out of here. I want to thank everybody for watching this show. I want to thank everyone for watching any of the 100 episodes that I've done. Oh man, Glenzer, thank you. Did not have to tip anything. Thank you for the $10 tip. I appreciate it. Everything's appreciated. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Glenzer. Let me check to see if you wrote a super chat before I get out of here. Let's see. Thank you, man. Seriously. But I really want to find the identity of this current brand. Congrats on episode 100. Here's to 200. We'll see. We'll see if we can make it that far. I like I said, I want to take the time to find the direction of this channel. You guys have been pretty good. It may just become a gaming channel, man, and just be a little bit more laid back. I almost intended for this to not necessarily a somber stream, but just me explain kind of where my thoughts were. Because you guys know, I mean, this isn't news that I hate politics and I hate this media shit, and that's what the channel is built on. But I think the side thing is just us, man. The banter, as Senshin Dildo would call it, the back and forth between you guys and chat, and if there is a panel, if there is a guest, that's always been fun. So thank you guys for all your support. We'll see when, hopefully, my guesstimate is February-ish is when I'll probably be back with new Vigilante Wins and show episodes. Maybe a little later, depending on how things go with the music. Maybe earlier, depending on how things go with the music. So we'll see. And not just the music, weight loss. So on all that note, if you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. But even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. Good night and God bless. For 24/7 Fusion Media, who I'm not sure what's going on with the setup, but in any event, for him, for Matt from Fireball Productions, Baron Norman Tag, and all you guys here, it's Vigilante Williamson, 100th episode of the show. And we'll talk to you guys later. See you on a gaming stream. Peace. Actually, let's play something out. I always want to play something out. How about this one? Because this is like the story of my life.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.